Journalists would like to ask some questions?
Yeah, I got one.
Please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
I'm Charlotte Brown with the Genesis Communication Network and a CBC radio program. I'd like to know your thoughts on the North American Union.
The North American Union is something I am absolutely opposed to. It came out of this whole plan to have NAFTA, part of the CAFTA movement, part of the WTO, and part of the UN. So that has been something that has been moving along, even though the Congress has never met and talked about it. And they're talking about the super NAFTA type highway, part of the North American Union, and they're talking about an Amero, which would be one currency, and moving in the direction of like they did in Europe, the European Union. I'm opposed to it. I still believe very strongly in American sovereignty.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
Okay, on a Codex a la Meritorious of the FDA.
Right. Okay, that means they want to unify all the drug regulations for vitamins and nutritional products under the WTO, which means that you would not be able to buy your vitamins and get these nutritional products without a doctor's prescription. And that is wrong, and they should have the freedom to advertise and talk and promote, and never, not only do I object to international regulations, I object to our own FDA type of regulations trying to make it difficult for our people to buy these holistic type of medicines.
Thank you very much.
Okay, very good.
Yes, sir.
Next question, please.
Do you have any messages for the people of Green Tree in Mount Lebanon?
I'll be there to visit them soon.
Awesome.
You want to talk more about Iraq?
We're going to.
Do we have another question? Direct question?
What's your viewpoint on the national ID?
Okay, on the war on Iraq, my position is very clear. We went in there and it was a mistake. It hasn't gone well, and we should come home as soon as possible. And I argued the case even years before they went in because I knew it was coming. As early as 1998, the policy of this country was changed to regime change, which I thought was totally unnecessary and very dangerous. So I have advocated this position, but I admonish those who want us to go to war by merely giving the power and authority to the president, which he shouldn't have, because only Congress is supposed to declare war. So I even introduced a resolution arguing that if you want to go to war, you should declare it, go in and fight it all out and win it and come home. Even though I didn't agree with the war, but they didn't agree with that issue. But I think ever since World War II, whether it was in the 60s, the 70s, or 80s, we have been fighting. So many of our people dying, and the wars never seemed to end. We still have troops in Korea. So I think it's a very strong constitutional position. The founders want us to follow. That the people had to have their say on any declaration of war. They're the ones who have to pay, and they have to send their kids. So as far as Iraq is concerned, staying is just going to cause more chaos, and more Americans are going to die, and it's going to cost us more money. So the sooner we come home, the better.
Woo! Amen.
How surprised are you by the reaction to your campaign?
Well, I just had a little meeting a few minutes ago, and I did express my surprise, a pleasant surprise, because I've been saying the same thing for 30 years, and I've been arguing the case and voting this way, and it just seems like it's come alive. And it's hard to explain, but it's something that's catching on, as I mentioned before, with a lot of young people who believe this message, believe in freedom, believe in the Constitution, as well as spreading this message. We've never had the opportunity, those of us who have believed this way over the years, to spread this message, and it's done over the internet, and we have yet to prove it's going to be successful politically. We see the success is coming and it's building, but we have to translate that into some victories in straw votes and then eventual victory in the primaries. But I would give a lot of credit to the internet, as well as there was a remnant of people who truly believed in America and the principles of America, and I think we underestimated that, and we've underestimated the enthusiasm that young people would have once they heard this message.
Will you talk a little bit about your thoughts about income tax?
On income taxes, my position is rather clear, and that is that I liked it before 1913. 1913 is when we brought in the income tax, so my position is repeal the 16th Amendment and get rid of the IRS. You all have to remember, though, the main reason for high taxation is that the majority of American people have endured and have been willing not to stand up against those who want big government, promising, free stuff from Washington forever, from cradle to grave, as well as endorsing a foreign policy of interventionism overseas. If we as a nation, as a people, and as a generation endorse welfare and warfare, you can't get away from having to pay high taxes, because there's no other way to do it. You have to change policy. You have to decide we shouldn't be the policemen of the world, and welfare and socialism doesn't work, then you can have low taxes again.
Dr. Paul, what's your position on the use of depleted uranium munitions?
He asked about depleted uranium in munitions, which is a problem that continues to exist. It existed after the first Persian Gulf War, which I consider the same war. But even now, there's a lot of shells that uses depleted uranium, which provide health dangers to our personnel, and civilians will go on for decades. It's hard to identify, it's hard to describe, and yet our government, you pay for it to use depleted uranium in shells that then linger and cause a lot of disease. And we are facing a major crisis in our ability to take care of our veterans. And that, of course, should be top priority. National Defense has taken care of veterans, and yet they have not had the care that they need and deserve. At the same time, they're coming back, and they're more injured and hurt people today than ever before, because of we're protecting them. At least we're protecting them from getting killed. But we have a big problem, and I think it's going to depleted uranium is going to be part of that. So the only way we can reverse this trend is, of course, to change the foreign policy to the point where we don't keep exacerbating it and making it worse, and having us move in the direction of maybe having a confrontation with Iran. That makes no sense to me whatsoever, and that's why we have to just sort of back away and come home, mind our own business, and just think how much better we get along with Vietnam these days. After all that fighting and killing, and people had died. Now we trade with Vietnam, and they come and visit us, and we invest over there. The founders were absolutely correct. You trade with people, you talk with people, you be friends with people, you're less likely to fight.
With your stance on foreign intervention, what would you say about the issues in Darfur right now?
About what?
The situation in Darfur.
The situation in Darfur, I would argue the same case. That the evidence is very strong that every time they say, well, the hot wars like in Iraq are well motivated. It's to promote our democracy and take care of people. It's always pretend to do good, but it backfires. Even when you pretend to do good in Darfur, or a country that is just savage with civil war, you even send food over there. The military takes it over, it becomes a weapon. So it doesn't solve the problem. I believe that those kind of problems should be taken care of in the voluntary sector. And ultimately, that type of violence only is solved by the people themselves, and not by us imposing ourselves on them. Okay, one more.
One more question.
Can you explain the national ID card and your viewpoint on that, on what that is?
Okay, the national ID card is called the Real ID. It's moving along. It's working through our driver's license. It has a computer chip in there that has unlimited resources for the government to put whatever they want in it. I'm absolutely opposed to it. It came out of the fear that came out after 9/11. But it's sort of like if criminals use guns and violence, what they do is they register the guns of the law-abiding citizens. This is the same thing. We're registering all Americans with a Real ID, national ID card. At the same time, I don't think it's going to contribute anything to catching the criminals who will just disobey the law. So we as a country should never accept the idea of acting like they have in other totalitarian countries, where you have to carry your papers to move around. That's what a national ID card is all about. And that's it. Thank you very much. The meetup group asked me.
Texas freedom.
Well, let's hope so. There's a story.
Wanted to throw you the softball.
There's a story that I handed out. I probably handed out 100,000 copies about Davy Crockett, but not when he was at the Alamo. had to do when he was in Congress. It's interesting to look it up on our website. It's called Not Yours to Give. And David Crockett really, in one little story, makes all these points that I'm talking about. It's not yours to give. Somebody came up to him and said, yeah, that's fine, you want to do that, it's good things. But he told David Crockett, he says, that's not your money to give. And that would have been like the Darfur answer. It's not yours to give. It's a great answer. But David Crockett was very freedom-oriented. He came here and worked on ours.
Well, we'll catch up with you a little
Okay,
bit.
very good.
All right.
All right,
And all we have to do is we're going to the Houston Street.